my dad is an independent fundamental Baptist pastor. He's a Bob Jones University graduate. So there's different kinds of IFB sort of groups, and I was in the Bob Jones group. That's where my parents met. And my dad got saved when he was a Clemson student and a Bob Jones student on extension, basically doing ministry, put a track under his door, invited him to church, went to a Bob Jones fundamentalist sort of church in Greenville, South Carolina, got radically saved, went forward, did the whole altar call thing, and transferred from Clemson to Bob Jones and became a preacher boy.
Wow.
So to connect it to your Preacher Boy podcast
Yeah,
title,
good plug,
my
good
dad was
plug.
a Bob Jones Preacher Boy, and I start with his story because I think my story is so connected to, I think a lot of the time, if like, what if that didn't happen,
Yeah.
because he wasn't raised by godless atheists,
Hmm.
like yourself, Eric. I'm just kidding. He was raised by nominal Christians. He was raised in a like Presbyterian. So it wasn't like when he got saved, it wasn't like he wasn't a Christian. He just wasn't a fundamentalist Christian.
Yeah.
And he had this radical change that I've only been able to better understand later in life as I've deconstructed how this affected his whole family dynamic and even the way he was connected to his siblings and his broader
Mm.
family. It was like a lot, they lost him in some ways because he came home from that break and started trying to convert them like right away, like was preaching the gospel to them. And they were like, whoa, what happened to this guy?
Yeah.
And so I was raised in fundamentalism, and at the core of what that meant was that we were right and everybody else was wrong. That was so integral to our worldview to include our family members. And so I talk in the book about how when we would even go to like holiday get-togethers at an uncle or an aunt's house, we'd be praying for the people on the way there. We'd pray for them again on the way home. And it was this mindset that like we're not just going to hang out with our family. They're unsaved and they need to be converted. They need to be saved. We have to give them the gospel. We're praying that we'd be lights and witnesses. And so when I think about my childhood, I very much think about this feeling of alienation that we were separate from everyone else and and also superior in the sense that everyone needed what we had, which yeah, as a result, we weren't close to a lot of our extended family. Even my best friend who lived across the street was Catholic. And so I was literally, I'd play toys or video games with him during the day. And at night before bed, we'd pray for him and his family's salvation. Um, it's just a weird, fucked up thing to have integrated into your friendship and familial relationships. But that was totally normal for me. And really for anybody, I think, who believes that unless you are your kind of Christian, you're going to go to hell.